Masterclass series, and we at One Finance, are backed and mentored by Marwari Chandrana Group and committed to equip you with the knowledge and resources that you need for empowering your financial well-being journey. I'm Manju Dhake, and I'm honored to be your host for this insightful event today. And I'm building insurance advisory engine at One Finance. We spoke about just a glimpse of our previous masterclass on the topic of keen important, which is tax planning, which touch upon why tax planning at the start of the year, old versus new regime, ways to save taxes, and obviously sometimes some things for the first time filers. So this was our quick updates on the previous masterclass, and this masterclass happens every month, once a month, and these are the snippets of our previous masterclasses. Today we are going to speak on the National Pension System, an effective retirement vehicle, and it's and I'm sure let us explore its potential as an effective retirement vehicle. Our esteemed speaker, whose expertise in this domain is unparalleled, will guide us through the intricacies of NPS, enlightening us with key strategies and practical tips to optimize our retirement savings. So I urge all of you to make the most of the next 1 hour, as it promises to be highly enriching with valuable takeaways for all of you. Towards the end, we will have a dedicated Q&A sessions where you can share your questions and queries in the comment sections and insights. Obviously, we'll be more than happy to address them. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our esteemed speaker. And before that, let us walk through what will be the learning outcomes of this particular masterclass in the next 1 hour. So NPS, obviously, why should we consider it for retirement planning? What are the types of account? Tier 1, Tier 2, what's the difference? What are the asset classes and allocation choices that you have in NPS? What are the taxation rules with case studies, obviously? Breaking the myth around withdrawal and exit, because we always feel that we have to pay today and then we have to wait, and then at the age of 60 we have to decide whether we have to offer an annuity or not, whether that is advantageous or disadvantageous. Stay tuned with us to know what is the breaking what are the myths around it, and not only that, what are the post-retirement annuity options that you can opt for. So let me introduce to our esteemed speaker today, Mr. Ravinder Singh Chawla. He is the founder and managing partner of RSC Skill Building and Consulting Solutions LLP, holds an IIM alumni status and a certified CFP with a lot of certifications in NISM series, over 30 years of work experience, and he brings extensive knowledge and expertise to his role. Prior to his entrepreneurship journey, he excelled in establishing and managing profit centers and verticals at various national levels in renowned organizations like RICO and IGFC Standard Life. And since 2011, Ravindra has been actively involved in various roles such as learning and development, content creator, financial planner, management consultant, motivational speaker, and a coach. His true passion lies in upskilling individuals and simplifying the learning process for all. I'm really looking forward to an insightful session. Over to you, Mr. Ravinder. So can you unmute yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Ms. Manju. It's absolutely a pleasure being here. Thanks for having me here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely a pleasure being here with you all. Today we are going to be learning about National Pension System and how is it going to be helping us? How can it help us take care of a very, very important financial goal, which is retirement planning. And I can say, it's one of the most, I would say one of the biggest neglected goals, but it's a great instrument which would really be able to help us. Now, first of all, we'll talk about why is retirement planning so important today. So as we know, we don't have any, social security scheme in our country. We have to arrange for our retirement corpus by ourselves. As it is, we know that the era of defined benefit schemes is over, and now we are in the age of defined contributory schemes. So we need to fend for ourselves when it comes to our retirement in the second innings of our life. Now, as we know, the longevity has been growing. We are now living longer. That's what these studies have also shown, and statistics are also talking about it. That's because of advancement in the medical science. It's about the awareness levels in people towards their health care. People are more conscious about what to eat, about the exercises to be performed, yoga, etc., etc. So people are becoming conscious and they are living longer. And I'm sure many of us would be having people in our family and friends who would be way beyond 90 years of age. Another important thing is that the social structure is changing, which means that the era of joint family is gone. And as we know, we have nuclear family concept mushrooming now, which means that we'll have to fend for ourselves when it comes to old age because our children may be settled somewhere else. And as we also know that inflation is a big monster which is going to be impacting us continuously. So as we go along, we will have to shell out much more to be able to take care of our expenses. And more often than not, another important thing is that the aspirational, lives, the values, the desires are changing. I mean, gone are the days when older people used to only want to take care of their grandchildren or, just to go for a walk or let's say to place of pilgrimages to be able to enjoy their life post-retirement. Now they want to do everything what young people would do, which means that we need a huge corpus to be able to fend for all our expenses. That is what it is making retirement planning very, very important. Another fact of the matter is that the awareness levels in people as far as retirement planning is concerned is very, very low. So we will need to definitely, become more conscious about it. And NPS is a great tool which can help us towards the same. Now, why a national pension system? There are various ways by which we can plan for a retirement. So why should we consider NPS, National Pension System, for this? Now, it's a scheme which is managed by a regulator, Provident Fund Regulatory Development Authority. This is a government body. So just like we have RBI, we have SEBI, we have IRDAI. Similarly, we also have PFRDA. So PFRDA is regulating the entire pension system. It's quite flexible. So you can join it from the age of 18 itself and right till the age of 70. So there's a big age. The entry could be done right from 18 till the age of 70, and one can manage the exit from the scheme till only at the age of 75. So if you want, you can extend it till the age of 75, and that is when the annuities would start. So there's a huge flexibility which is available. Another set of flexibilities also pertain to, as we shall be learning about, it pertains to the asset allocation options which are there. Now, when we talk about a retirement planning scheme, as we know, there are two stages there. There are two phases there. One is the accumulation phase and the other one is the withdrawal stage. So there are a lot of flexibility which are available, which we shall be talking about. So it would help us generate regular income streams post-retirement. It's a very, very low cost solution. So if you were to compare it with other, generic solutions towards retirement planning, this comes with a very low expense ratio. And then, going by the past record, the kind of returns it has generated those returns are very, very good returns. They are positive rate of returns, way beyond the rate of inflation. Now, a standard disclaimer here that the past returns may not be sustainable in future, just like it goes with any investment scheme. But then definitely we have a big trend, and that gives us a lot of confidence. In terms of taxation, it helps us, get tax benefits right from the stage of investing money till the to the point when the money is growing, and also considering the withdrawal stage. So exempt benefits are available, and it's one of those few solutions which allow us that kind of benefit. Now, how does it work? How does NPS work? So it has, broadly speaking, two stages. One is the accumulation stage, wherein anyone who is currently in an active work life stage, it could be a salaried job, it could be business that person could be in, right? Anyone. So this is the all citizen model that we have. So anyone could start accumulating for retirement. And then the second stage would be pertaining to the withdrawal stage, which means post-retirement, when the active income would stop, the person could start generating regular income. that would be the withdrawal stage. Now, as just to give an example, so let's say at the time of retirement, let's say a subscriber would be retiring at the age of 60, just for example. So depending upon the accumulation corpus, 60% could be withdrawn tax-free, lump sum, right? Let's say the accumulation is 1 crore, just for example. So 60 lakh rupees could be withdrawn lump sum, tax-free, and the balance 40% could be used to get annuities post-retirement, right? So this is how it works. Now, during the accumulation stage, if the subscriber were to pass away, then whatever corpus is being generated, that would go to the nominees. And even at the post-retirement stage, obviously, depending upon the retirement option chosen, the annuities could go that way. And we shall be discussing about it when it comes to the post-retirement annuity options. Now, let's understand the strategies that we could choose in NPS. So NPS primarily is a retirement scheme, is a retirement planning scheme. So tier 1 of the scheme is actually the retirement option which is there, which is purely for retirement planning and getting annuities post-retirement. So all the tax benefits which are available pertain to tier 1 of the scheme. Tier 2 of the scheme is primarily an investment scheme, right? One could park money there, park funds there, or one could also, use it as a saving scheme. So it's like a saving bank account wherein you could put your money whenever you want. You could withdraw your money whenever you want. Now, the tier 1 scheme is the mandatory scheme. Tier 2 is the voluntary option, is the option which, if the investor wants, can opt for. But tier 1 is mandatory, right? If one were to stop or let's say close the tier 1 option, let's say at the time of exit, then the tier 2 option would also get over, right? Now the tax benefits are immense, which we shall be talking about in tier 1 scheme. But in tier 2, there are no tax benefits which are available, right? So tier 1 is what is the actual retirement, benefit option which is there. Asset classes which are available in case of NPS. Now, whether it is tier 1 or whether it is tier 2, there are, broadly speaking, 4 asset classes in NPS. So one is equities, the other one is the debt asset class, wherein again it has got 2 parts. So one is corporate bonds, and the third one is the government securities, right? And the fourth one is the alternate asset class, right? So real estate investment trust, or let's say infrastructure investment trust, right? Or it could be the alternate asset class, various other options which are there. So this is what pertains to the A, or the alternate asset class. So equity, corporate bonds, and the government securities, plus the alternate asset class. So there are four asset classes which are there. So automatically when you invest in NPS, you are also, the money is getting invested considering the chosen asset classes. Now why I'm saying chosen asset classes? Because here it could either be a default option wherein automatic ratio would be maintained, which is going to be in terms of the automatic choice, or auto choice as they call it. And the second one is the active choice, wherein the money would be invested across different asset classes considering our chosen ratios, right? Now in the auto asset class, auto choice, here the the allocation to equity would keep reducing as we keep aging. So it's based on a formula, right? For example, maximum allocation in the auto choice would be 75% in equity till we are 35 years of age, right? The maximum allocation to equity is 75% at the age of 35. At the age of 50, in auto choice, it is only 50%, and it would keep reducing thereafter. But if you are, let's say, having a high risk appetite, and you are someone who wants the money to be allocated in equity, then you can opt for the active choice, right? Wherein the allocation could be much higher towards equity, right? The allocation in equity would be different depending upon your choice in the active option. But if you want, the allocation in corporate bonds or the government securities could be up to 100% also, depending upon your choice. So this is again one of the highlights of national pension system, that it automatically also allows you, an asset allocation ratio, which would help you diversify your investments in a big manner. And that would definitely benefit in terms of compounding, in terms of getting very high returns as well. Now, returns are something which is another highlight of this particular scheme. So this is something which has really beaten the inflation consistently. And even if we were to talk about, the aggressive asset investment option, wherein maximum funds get allocated to equity, or the moderate asset class, or the the conservative investment option, sorry, not asset class but investment option. So there are three options which are there: aggressive, moderate, or conservative. Aggressive, as the name suggests, would have 75% allocation to equity. The moderate would have 50% allocation to equity, and conservative would have 25% allocation to equity. Now, as you could see, over the years, even in case of conservative asset class, where the allocation to equity is very less, the returns have been phenomenally high, right? But again, a standard disclaimer here that past returns may not be sustainable. This is just to show the kind of trend which the returns, NPS returns have been like. So returns may not be sustainable, and that goes with any investment product which is available. But definitely the returns are high, and one of the important reasons for that is that there is a lot of competition amongst the pension fund managers. As we speak, there are as many as 10 pension fund managers, right? So the investor can choose to opt for any particular pension fund manager, and the investor can switch also from one pension fund manager to another one once a year. So obviously the pension fund managers are also very, very keen to make sure that the investors would stick to them, right? And the PFRDA as a regulator has always made a point to make sure that the expense ratios are very, very less, right? So that is what makes it, beneficial in getting very, very high, quite high rate of returns. Now, taxation is something which is very important, and I'm sure all of you would be wanting to know more about taxation. So all the tax benefits, as I mentioned earlier, they pertain to tier 1 of the scheme. Now, what are the tax benefits available? So, let's understand it that when we are investing in the scheme, right? So there are deductions available under the old regime of the taxation. So all the deductions are available in the old regime, as we know. There are no deductions available in the new regime, right? So what are the deductions available? So let's say you are a salaried person and you are investing in NPS, right? Or for that matter, you could be business also. So the section of income tax under which the benefits would be available to the investor would be different in case of a salaried person and would be different in case of a businessman. So that's a difference there. But still, just to help you understand, let's say you are investing in NPS tier 1, right? Then you would be you could also get benefit under section 80C, right? Assuming you don't have any provident fund contribution, you don't have any PPF contribution, you don't have any term insurance, you don't have any tuition fees of children, etc., etc. You are not investing in ELSS, etc., etc. So 1.5 lakhs up to 1.5 lakhs could be the deduction available under NPS tier 1 in under section 80 CCD 1, right? Now, assuming that you have already availed of your section 80C deductions limit, then in that case you could get additional benefits of up to 50,000 rupees under section 80 CCD 1B, right? So assuming that you don't have, you're not availing of benefits under 80C, then it means you could invest up to 2 lakh rupees in NPS tier 1. 1,50,000 would be under 80CCD 1 and additional 50,000 rupees would be available under 80CCD 1B. Right? Now, generally people are aware about 80C and people are definitely, many of you would have been availing of the deductions under that, but you may not be availing of the deductions which are available beyond that, up to 50,000 rupees. So NPS gives you that option of availing of additional tax deductions. So that is the benefit there, right? So let's say you could do an SIP of 4,200 rupees every month in NPS tier 1, right? And that would work out to around 50,000 rupees in a year, right? NPS tier 2 does not offer any tax benefits. So what are the other tax benefits available in case of an individual in tier 1? So let's say you also have subscribed to, your company has subscribed to corporate NPS. You're working in a company where the company has opted for corporate NPS, right? Now the company could contribute up to 10% of your basic plus DA, right? And this could be contribution up to 7.5 lakhs, right? Now when I'm saying 7.5 lakhs, that includes your provident fund contribution, it includes your superannuation contribution plus NPS. So assuming that your company does not have superannuation, it has not opted for PF, it has opted for NPS, right? Then the company could be contributing up to 7.5 lakhs, assuming that your basic plus DA works out to 75 lakhs, right? Now imagine if your basic is 75 lakhs and the company is contributing 7.5 lakhs, towards your NPS contribution, right? Then 7.5 lakhs could come from that deductions, plus 2 lakhs could be the contribution which you are making from your side personally. So imagine you could be getting up to 9.5 lakhs of contribution, right? Now, what if you are a businessman, a self-employed person? So there again, in lieu of Section 80 CCD 1B, right? You could again be getting a deduction of 50,000 rupees, right? Assuming that your gross, it is 20% of your gross income or 50,000 rupees, right? So let's take an example. Let us say your gross annual income as a self-employed person is let's say 2.5 lakhs, right? So what is 20% of 2.5 lakhs? It is 50,000 rupees. So a self-employed person could also be contributing towards NPS Tier 1 and could be getting deductions of 50,000 rupees. So it's not just a salaried person who would be getting benefit under NPS Tier 1, but even a self-employed person. Remember, a self-employed person does not get benefit under, Provident Fund, right? Because obviously Provident Fund is not available to a non-salaried person. But NPS gives the benefit to self-employed person as well, and that is up to 50,000 rupees. That is what makes this very, very beneficial. In case of non-government employees, there are no benefits, no tax benefits in case of Tier 2. In case of government employees, yes, if let's say they are saving money for minimum 3 years in Tier 2, that would get covered under ATC, right? But obviously ATC limits would have already got over. Even in case of government employees, they would have been contributing towards Provident Fund, etc. So that is why we can safely say that in case of Tier 2, there are no tax benefits available. All the tax benefits are applicable only in case of Tier 1. Right? Now let's look at a case study just to understand it. So, our hero in this particular case study is a gentleman called Trilok. So Trilok is working in a company where the company is opted for corporate NPS, and the company is contributing 2 lakh rupees, as contribution, pertaining to Trilok. So let's assume that Trilok's basic is 20 lakh rupees in a year. So the company is contributing 2 lakh rupees, right? Plus Trilok also from his own side, he contributes 50,000 rupees in NPS Tier 1, right? Let's assume that he's already doing something, investing something in ATC. So ATC limits are over. Let's assume that 50,000 is his personal contribution towards NPS Tier 1, and his company is contributing 2 lakh rupees, right? So what would be the tax benefits available? Well, the entire 2 lakh rupees which the company is contributing would be available to him for deductions, and the 50,000 rupees which is contributing from his own side would also be available to him, right? Now assume that if he were not contributing anything towards ATC, and let's say if he were to be contributing 2 lakh rupees from his own side, then 2 lakh rupees would have been available to him from the company side also, the contribution the company is making, plus 2 lakh rupees from his own side also. That's how powerful this is, right? Now what are the exit rules? So, so there are 3 parts of this one. One is that, someone may be exiting this scheme after attaining the age of 60, right? And the other part is someone may be exiting this scheme before the age of 60. So if the subscriber were to be exiting the scheme at the age of 60, then 60% of the accumulated corpus could be withdrawn in lump sum, right? And the balance 40% of the accumulation could be, one could get annuities from that 40% accumulated amount. So let's take an example. Let us say the accumulated corpus in tier 1 is 1 crore, right? So if the person is exiting the scheme at the age of 60, then in that case 60% of the contribution, which 60% of the accumulated corpus, which is 60 lakh rupees, would be available for withdrawal, tax free, and the balance 40 lakh rupees could be used to get annuities from the chosen annuity service provider, right? Now, what if the person is exiting before the age of 60, right? So if let's say the subscriber were to be exiting before the age of 60, then only 20% of the accumulated corpus is available for tax-free withdrawal, and the annuities need to be taken from the balance 80%. So going by the same example, let's say the accumulated corpus is 1 crore and the investor, the subscriber, is exiting before the age of 60. Then in that case, 20 lakhs would be available to be withdrawn in lump sum, and annuities need to be taken from the balance 80 lakh rupees, right? So it makes more sense to start your annuities after the age of 60, right? But I would honestly suggest that if you don't need money at the age of 60, then you can also prolong your exit till the age of 75. I mean, at the age of 75, you could continue investing till 75 years of age, and then from the age of 75 the annuities would start, right? The scheme could be carried on till the age of 75. In fact, the withdrawal at the age of 60 could also be done in installments, right, till the age of 75. So just to give another example, let's say 60% could be withdrawn, right? So this 60% withdrawal could also be done in installments over the 15 years, right? If you don't need money, it could be done in installments, and the annuity could start at the age of 75, right? Now, in both the cases, at the age of 60, if the total accumulated corpus is below 5 lakhs or below 5 lakhs, then the entire amount would be available for withdrawal. You will not need to necessarily opt for annuities from the balance 80% component. And if you are exiting the scheme before the age of 60, and if the accumulated corpus is up to 2.5 lakhs, then again that option is available. So that's one of the recent developments. Earlier this flexibility wasn't there. So NPS regulator, PFRDA, is constantly bringing in new flexibilities for the benefit of the subscribers, right? Now please keep in mind that while the 60% corpus that you can withdraw is tax free, the 40% amount that would be used for regular annuities is also not considered as income, right, for taxation purposes. But the annuities which you would be getting, they are definitely taxable, right? So the annuities would be taxable. However, you would be getting the benefit of standard deduction, which is currently up to 50,000 rupees, right? Even if you are a non-salaried person and you're getting annuities, you would be getting the benefit of, you would be getting the standard deduction available. Right? Now let's look at another case study. So Dhurandhar, has been investing in NPS tier 1, and the total accumulated corpus is 20 lakh rupees. He is retiring at the age of 60, right? So how much can he withdraw tax free? So obviously, because the total corpus is 20 lakhs and he is exiting after the age of 60, so he could withdraw 60% of the accumulated corpus tax free, right? So in this case, it is 12 lakhs. What if he were to be retiring before the age of 60, right? So in that case, as we discussed, it is 25% of the accumulated corpus. So in this case, 25% of the accumulated corpus would be 5 lakhs, right? Now, we've discussed about premature withdrawal, before the age of 60 also. But what if someone needs money in between, right? So there could be certain conditions because of which somebody may want to partially withdraw some amount. So NPS allows that to the investor. 3 times the investor could partially withdraw during the entire scheme. And how much could be withdrawn? It is restricted to 25% of the contribution. Right? Remember, when we were talking about exiting the scheme or let's say the premature withdrawal before the age of 60, we were talking about a certain percentage of the corpus. But in case of partial withdrawal, it is only on contribution, right? Which means your own contribution. So let's say, for example, you have been contributing 50,000 per month, per year, 50,000 annually, right? And let's say you are wanting to withdraw partially some amount after the age of, after 10 years of term. So, how much would have you contributed? 50,000 into 10. So you would have contributed 5 lakhs, right? So you can withdraw only 25% of your contribution, which is 25% of, in this case, 5 lakh rupees, right? So 1.25 lakhs is what you can withdraw, right? And that too is in case of certain conditions. So it could be, disability, which one may get infected with. It could be somebody's, marriage in the family, daughter's marriage or son's marriage. It could be because of, let's say, the person could be constructing a home, constructing a house, or it could be, because of certain other late condition, for example, job loss, etc. Now, what about annuities? So we discussed about the fact that 40% if the person is if exiting the scheme after the age of 60, then 40% of the corpus could be used for getting annuities. So what are the different options in case of annuities, right? So there are multiple options available depending upon the choice of the investor. So you could choose amongst the various options which are available. For example, it could mean life annuity, which means the annuity would be available to the subscriber till the time he or she were alive, right? It could be annuity with annuity, joint life annuity, right? Which means both husband and wife could get annuities, and the annuities would continue till the time whosoever is alive, right? Let's say the husband were to die early, and let's say the husband were to die at the age of 85, but the wife is still there till the age of 90, right? So the annuity would be continuing for wife till her age. Again, the option could be that the investor may choose that any one of us dying early, both the spouses. The other spouse may only require 50% of the annuity, right? Then that option is also available. So there are multiple options available, and obviously the annuity amount would be different in each cases. So let's say the investor says that once both of us are gone, then whatever the amount we had paid, 40% of the accumulated corpus that we had paid, that amount should be given to our nominee, right? So that is called as return of purchase price. So that option is also available, and the investor could choose whichever option is available. So let's look at a practical case study just to understand this. So Mr. Madhusudan Bhatt has retired at the age of 60, and his wife is 58 years old. And let's assume that the accumulated corpus is 2.5 crores, right? So 60% of this amount, which is 1.5 crores, would be available to them, to be withdrawn in lump sum. And the balance amount, which is 1 crore rupees, would be available for getting annuities, right? So what are the various options that they can choose? Now imagine, just to think about a situation, that the butts have taken care of their children. Their children are well settled. Let's say they are they don't need any money from their parents. So the children have told their parents that you opt for the best annuity option. You don't worry about us, right? Even if we don't get any contribution after you are no more there, we don't want any money to be available to us, right? Then they will choose life annuity, joint life annuity, right? Which means both of them would keep getting pension and annuity, and when they are gone, obviously no money is payable to the nominees. That option is also available. Here the annuity would be highest, right? But let's say the subscriber wants that after both of us are gone, both the spouses are gone, whatever money we had paid to get the annuity should be given to the nominee, right? In this case, the annuity would be lower, right? Similarly, the investor may also opt for annuity amount increasing every year in line with inflation, right? So if they were to choose that, then at the rate of 3% every year, the annuity amount would be higher. So there are multiple options. Just to give you an example, let's say you go to a tailor with a piece of cloth, piece of fabric, and you want a certain type of design, the suit to be stitched in a certain design, right? The tailor would stitch it considering whichever design you want, right? The same way, you go to a baker and you want a certain type of cake to be made. Obviously, the baker would do that. You may give the material and he would do that. The same is available in case of annuities also. You tell the option, whatever annuity option you require, and the annuity service provider. So there are 14 annuity service providers, right? You can choose to get annuity quotes for different companies. You can choose whichever annuity service provider you think you would want to go with, right? So you can shop around, you can choose whichever annuity option is available. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. Currently, the annuity rates, considering the quotations, are ranging from 5% to 7% in different options, right? So obviously, it's quite attractive. So you can choose to get annuities depending upon the option that you would want. So you can go to CRA-NSDL.com, right? Or you can just you can choose the annuity quotes. You can go to this is how we have worked out the annuity quotes available. So NPS gives you the option of getting annuity quote, and you can choose the annuity options which are available. Now, one question, I'm sure I'm preempting that question. Many people would have that in mind, that why to go for annuities? Why can't we get money in lump sum, 100%? Why 60%? Right? So I'm preempting this question, so I thought I'll answer that. See, the fact of the matter is we are going to be living longer, right? We are going to be living till, let's say, 90 years of age, probably 95 years of age. Many of you may be touching 100 years of age as well, right? As we keep aging, we may not be able to manage our money properly. Imagine, you thinking that you would be managing your own money yourself. Right now, when we are young, when we are in the age of 75, 80, we may be able to do that. But beyond that, we may not be able to do that, right? Secondly, as the country develops, the interest rates keep reducing. We all know what are the kind of interest rates available, prevalent in Japan and other developed countries, right? So the chances are that interest rates in our country also would be going down. We have already seen an era, those of us, who've seen the era 20 years back, we know that the interest rates used to be 17%, 18%. And now we are in the era where the interest rates, the bond yields is around 7.25, 7.3 odd percent. Right? Going forward, the interest rates would be reducing. So imagine we all being in an era where the interest rates are 2%, 3%, right? So obviously, we may not be able to get good returns from our money for our retirement purposes. But the benefit with annuity is this, that once a company has promised, once an annuity service provider has promised us certain returns in terms of our annuity, that would remain fixed. So it's like that Salman Khan movie dialogue, ek baar maine commitment kar di, once I made a commitment, I don't go back on my promise. The same is applicable in case of annuity service provider also. The rates would remain the same, whether the interest rates go down to 2%, 3%, right? So that's the benefit. So my suggestion is, even if you don't want to allocate entire corpus of yours towards annuities, you may consider allocating some amount and choose annuities, because that would mean a very comfortable post-retirement life. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for such an insightful, session, and breaking a lot of myths, that already many of us, were having, considering, the longevity, the increasing the life expectancy. I mean, it is, quite perennial that one should consider having NPS in their retirement portfolio. There are a couple of questions,
Sure.
which we'll be taking now. So the very first
Sure.
question, comes from Priyanka. She says, my NPS account is frozen. What do I do next? The app is not mentioning the further steps. So, obviously the grievances redressal. Are there any ways, how she can file that?
Sure. So Priyanka, you may find out who is your current central record keeping agency, which is CRA. There are 3 CRAs as of now, right? It could be Protean, PROTEAN, Technologies, or it could be CAMS NPS, or it could be KFinTech, right? You may write to them about it. Probably it could be you may have discontinued your contribution. So NPS, the rule says that you need to be contributing minimum 1,000 rupees every year in tier 1. So I'm just assuming you may have maybe not paid the contribution in any year, and that could be one reason. Or it could be that they may have asked for some KYC documents which we may not have been able to provide for any reason, right? So maybe it would pertain to only KYC, or it could pertain to contribution having got missed out. So you may have to pay the contribution for the period which got missed out, and it would get revived. This is not something which is a big problem. It's just a routine matter, and I'm sure it would get resolved.
I'm sure. Thank you so much. Pratik asks, what is the difference between an NPS and a PPF in short?
Okay, fantastic. So Public Provident Fund, is a scheme which offers guaranteed returns, right? So that's one. And then there is no provision of annuities there. Whatever money you have contributed, the entire corpus would be available to you to be withdrawn. The third difference is this, that I mean, in terms of design itself, there's a difference. So Public Provident Fund is purely for accumulation purposes, accumulation of corpus. You could be accumulating that money for any financial goal. It could be your daughter's marriage. It could be going for going abroad after 16 years. It could be any purpose, right? It could be for retirement planning also. NPS is purely designed from a retirement planning perspective, and you could get a certain amount of money tax free, and the balance could be used for getting your annuities, right? But in both of them, the difference is that both of them are virtually giving a lot of tax benefits. The other difference is that in PPF, the maximum amount you can contribute in a year is only 1.5 lakhs. You cannot contribute more than 1.5 lakhs in a year. Whereas in NPS, you could be contributing way beyond that, right? So that's again a different. It is without any limits. You could be contributing any amount. There's no limit on that. So primarily, these are the differences which come to my mind.
Great, great. Continuing, Mr. Mohit is asking, I contribute 1.5 lakhs to PPF and 50,000 to NPS on his own. And
right.
if he also contributes 10% of his basic salary through the employer to NPS. So will he get the tax benefit on NPS contribution which is done through his employer?
Yes, you would. You would. So, your employer needs to be a subscriber to the corporate NPS, right? You can, if your employer is already a subscriber, then whatever contribution the employer is making, which is 10% of your basic plus DA, which is meant for retirement, then in that case, that amount would also be available to you. So let's take an example. Let us say your basic is 1 lakh rupees per annum. Just for example, right? Per month, 1 lakh rupees per month. So 12 lakh rupees is your basic, right? So 10% of 12 lakh rupees is 1.2 lakhs. So 1.2 lakhs would be available to you, in terms of tax deductions, plus the contribution of 50,000 which you are making would also be available to you, right? Just keep in mind that all these deductions are available in the old regime of taxation only. NPS deductions are not available in case of in case of new regime of taxation.
Great. Sandeep is asking, I'm a businessman, can I invest in NPS? Can I invest in PPF?
Yes, you can invest in PPF. You can also invest in NPS. In case of NPS, the deductions available to you would be 20% of your gross income, right? So your gross income, which is your top line, as I say, your revenue, 20% of that, subject to maximum of 50,000 rupees, would be available in NPS. And of course, PPF anyone can do.
Great. Udita is asking, after the age of 60, what's the process of withdrawal of 60% corpus?
So you need to write to the CRA, Central Record Keeping Agency, and they would give you a form to fill up. So you complete that form and you can withdraw 60%. You can also get quotes from the multiple annuity service providers for choosing the annuity service provider for the balance 40% contribution. So the process is very, very seamless, and it could be facilitated without any problems.
Great. Parth is asking, is the contribution made by the company under corporate NPS qualify as taxable income or perquisites?
So, it depends upon the type of perk. Let's say your company is offering you a driver's allowance, right? Or it could be, let's say, any house help or anything. Then in that case, of course, it would be, that particular amount would be added as a perquisite. But we are talking about the tax deductions available on NPS. That's perquisites would be different. But if the company is making contribution against the corporate NPS which they have subscribed to, then the deductions would be available to the employee.
Great. Again, Syed is asking if in any case...
Okay, just 1 minute. Maybe I'll have to close my camera for a minute because the battery needs to be replaced with the camera. I'm here
Yeah.
only. I'll just immediately switch on the camera as soon as the battery gets depleted. Yeah, please continue.
All right. So his
Yeah,
question is,
please
if in
carry on.
any yeah, so if in any case, if the person stops the contribution in accumulation stage, what will be the impact on scheme?
So minimum 1,000 rupees is the amount which needs to be contributed. If for any reason the subscriber is not able to make that contribution, in that case maybe next year you can do that. So you may have to.
You've lost your voice. Hello?
Am I audible?
Yeah, now
Yeah,
you're
am I
clear.
audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, what I was saying was that let's assume that, subscriber has missed out paying the contribution. It could be paid next year, right? Now, I would suggest that in order to avoid all such possibilities, we can get into, a process wherein the standing instructions are given to the bank. The bank would automatically keep deducting the amount, right? And I am sure 1,000 rupees per year is nothing. In fact, I would suggest that we need to make much more contribution towards our retirement planning. Uh, just to give you an example, just to give you an example, let us say somebody is 35 years old today, right? And let's say the expenses of the person are 40,000 rupees per month. So 35 year old person, current expenses are 40,000 rupees per month. Let's say the person wants to retire at the age of 58, right? So 23 years left for retirement. Now, by the time, even if you assume 6% inflation rate, by the time this person retires at the age of 58, the monthly expenses would have got inflated up to 1,53,000 rupees. So what is going to fetch that person within 40,000 rupees today is going to require 1,53,000 rupees at the age of 58. Now, which means that if the person's expenses are 1,58,000 rupees at the age of 58, and assuming that he is going to have a life expectancy of 90 years, which means, sorry, which means he requires money for the next, 32 years, right? Inflation adjusted, which means considering 6% inflation, the expenses would keep going high. It will not remain 1,53,000, right? Which means, can you imagine how much of corpus this person needs to require? What kind of corpus this person needs to have at the age of 58? This person will require around 16 crore rupees. Now, if this person requires 16 crore rupees at the time of retirement, so that he can manage his retirement comfortably, beyond 60 years, beyond 58 years of age, to be able to accumulate 16 crore rupees, the minimum SIP which needs to be done for retirement planning, right, is 15,000 rupees per month. You need to contribute 15,000 rupees per month, even assuming if your annual return is going to be 11% per annum. Assuming
Absolutely.
that your annual returns will be 11% per annum, you will need to do a monthly investment of 15,000 rupees per month, right? Now, where is 15,000 rupees per month in this example, and where is 1,000 rupees per year?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I hope you would have, really got quite an insight with the returns. It is quite overwhelming. Next question from Ritvik. In the modern world, do you think keeping 60 years as retirement for all government-backed schemes makes sense to you?
Well, to be honest with you, no. Because we are talking about, enjoying our retirement. There was a movie by the name Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara. And, there the protagonist, Hrithik Roshan, he says, I want to retire at the age of 45. Right? But remember one thing, we would be able to retire comfortably only when we have the corpus. If we do not have the corpus available, how would you be able to retire? You cannot retire, right? Retirement would be comfortable only and only if we have money in our pocket. Then only we'd be able to retire comfortably. For that, we will need to really invest phenomenally well, which means currently we will have to make sure that we follow a disciplined approach, right? So the sooner we start doing it, the better it is. If we think that we would have enough money to be able to retire comfortably, we'd be able to have financial freedom, then of course we can retire, whenever we want. But it's all about discipline. It's all about making sure that right from the time we start our job, we need to first invest and then spend.
Right. True. So Yogesh is asking a question next. Can a person aged 67 years enter in NPS and exit at the age of 75? In fact, when we, planned about this particular masterclass event and I shared it in my group, one of my close friend also asked, like, I'm 53 and, I wanted to retire in 5 years. I mean, the retirement age is 58. So whether she should, enter into NPS for just 5 years and, maybe you can throw light on these two things.
Yes.
Very briefly,
yes.
We have just last 5 minutes and, a couple of other questions too.
Sure. Yes, 67 you can enter and you can contribute for minimum 5 years, right? So you can exit at the age of 75. Yes, the answer is yes.
Great. So, even if she would be invested for 5 years, how the accumulation and how the withdrawal, I'm sure, her investments would be, accordingly aligned what retirement, pension or annuity she is looking at. Is that right?
Yes. Correct. So 60% would be available, at the age of 70, currently as per the given current norms. 60% amount could be withdrawn tax-free and annuities could be availed of the balance 40% corpus.
Great. So, the same answer goes to, you can invest at the age of 67 and retire at 75. Now that,
Correct.
It is great.
Correct.
So I think, almost we have covered, all the questions. Again, I would mention, really apologize for the inconvenience to all the audience initially. We face a lot of technical issues, but, nevertheless, the entire recording would be available at LinkedIn, page, where you can see the entire, insightful session on all about NPS and why you should consider. Thanks for being a candid, audience, and thank you, Mr. Ravindra, for really enlightening us.
Pleasure.
You have cleared a lot of, my doubts as well. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Thanks. Stay tuned for the next masterclass next month. All right. Good night. Have a good